Hey guys, welcome back. Another Joshua Boosters video. Actually, already the fourth installment of my Magical Musketeers series. This will probably be my second to last video in this series, but to be honest, I'm really grateful for everything up until this point. The series has been doing relatively well on my channel, so I'm really happy with that. I'm really glad with the views I'm getting, and like there is a lot of interaction between between the viewers and me, like people giving me advice and thinking about the deck. They really seem to be into it, so I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much, guys. But yeah, this will be the second to last installment. This one will be slightly different than the first three installments because I'm actually going to be showcasing two matches. For this one, they're both against the same type of deck, just different variants though, which will be Eldlich builds. And yeah, with that being said, let's just go over the list real quick, since there is literally only one change. As you can see, I added in back the third Desires, because Desires is basically just the best card in the Musket deck, right? And then I actually took out Less Dead, because I just don't think it's that good, this format. Basically, Cyclone and Desperado sort of play the same role, where they interact with Conquistador mostly, which out the Musket on normal summon. Other traps don't really matter that much. And cards like Strike, they can just negate the summon of Max, and then Less End won't do anything anyway. So yeah, just this went to 2, and then there was single DD Crow in my side deck actually became the third Less Than, just against back row decks. So yeah. One last thing I want to say though is that with these few games I was still playing Magical Musketeer Wild, but I'm definitely swapping out this one for Magical Musketeer Calamity, which is the one that special summons one from the graveyard. Wild is just really never coming up, and Calamity can just help you go into a rank 4 or something like that, or another link 2, whatever. So yeah, but as you will see, I'm still playing Wild in the 2 matches I'm going to show you guys. So yeah, without any further ado, let's go into the gameplay. Okay guys, getting right into the first match here. Before we go into the game, I actually want to refer to some of the comments in my last video, where people were saying you should really, while playing against Eldlich, you should really focus on the grind game, basically, right? Well, I totally disagree with that, actually, since Eldlich is basically just the best grind deck in the game, right? There's literally no deck that can outgrind Eldlich. Even Sky Striker probably can't do it, because the Eldlich engine is just, newer and, engages banned. So that's why it grinds even better. But I kind of want to take you to a small anecdote, actually, that happened to me at YCS London, which was the first premiere event where I played Musketeers. I think it was like around 8 or 9 or something, probably 8. And I was playing against Orcust, which was arguably the best deck at that moment. And basically, I think I had won game 1 with Utopia Double or something, I don't really remember. But then game 2, this guy's graveyard was loaded, right? Literally every Orcust monster was in there, and he was like, bro, you should just scoop. Just go to the next game. The only out that exists is what's it called? Soul Release. For those of you who don't know, Soul Release cards is just a normal spell that says banish 5 cards from the graveyard. And I was like, bro, I'm not scooping. I'm playing Magical Musketeers. We have searchable Soul Release. So yeah, let's just see that in action. So the opening hand on my side here is like, it's alright. I have Dog, Kid Brave, Dancing Needle, and Double Desires. Double Desires not ideal, of course, but at least I have some muskets to start with, right? And if I go Dog, I can go Dancing Needle, to banish some stuff, and then Desires get the Dancing Needle back, which is pretty strong, which is still a +2. So yeah. And then his hands, actually, it looks to be sort of okay with Cursed Outland, Some Strike, and Skullmeister, but then he has double Golden Lord, which obviously also isn't ideal, even worse than Double Desires. So yeah, I won the Rock Paper Scissors, and he is going first. He's gonna go Outland, get Conquistador, I think, or Haquiro. Yeah, Haquiro. Then set his back row. Pass. I get super good top deck here, which is Lightning Storm, obviously, which I can just do. And then, since I know I'm playing as Eldlich, I can just banish everything I want from this grave to Dancing Needle and then go Desires. If I didn't draw the Lightning Storm, I would probably have gone Desires first, actually. just to possibly draw the Lightning Storm, since it's just so good in this matchup. But obviously, yeah, I'm just gonna go Lightning Storm. He's gonna send with the Cursed Outland, which is fine by me, obviously, because I can just go Dancing Needle later. So yeah, I do exactly that. The Golden Land traps actually can only be activated in the end phase, so he won't be able to chain those. And that way I'm just shutting him off from his engine for now. So yeah, I'm just doing exactly the play I mentioned earlier. I'm drawing into Wild and into Cross Domination. The Cross Domination is fine, I guess. It's not the best, but it will possibly protect my dock. Then what he's gonna do here is basically his only line of play, right, where he's gonna just go Golden Lord, discard the Black Awakening. But of course, I'm just gonna chain the Dancing to get rid of his Golden Lord and his Awakening. So he basically just has 2 cards in his hand versus my 4. And I have 2 muskets and possibly desires if I want to activate that, so yeah. So I'm just gonna go Kid Brave and then pass turn, I think. Yeah, set the Cyclone, then pass turn. He's actually has a pretty good top deck here in Extravagance, which is gonna draw him Order and Ash, which actually aren't that good. Like, he could potentially go Golden Lord, pitch Order to destroy my Kid Brave, but then he still can bring out the Order, and I still have the Wild in hand, so he's just gonna opt to set the Order here, which seems fine, but of course I have the Cyclone, which I'm gonna activate in the end phase. Just in case it's Sanguine or something, it's just better to do it now. And then I'm gonna top deck really good again, Caspar. That way I can establish 2 muskets on the field. Well, I could have done it anyway, but then Caspar is actually really good if I have to activate the Cross Domination. So yeah, I'm just gonna swing here. And then I'm actually gonna Desires here, which is interesting. I'm not sure if I really needed to do this, but that's way I can trigger the Caspar to add more disruptions. And after that I can possibly actually recycle the Musketeer cards already in play with the Wild, so that seems fine. Now he's gonna top deck Conquistador here. And then basically it's just the same issue all over again, right? He can pitch the Golden Lord and Conquistador to pop one of the guys, but then he can't bring out the Golden Lord until the end phase, or not even the end phase, but in the end phase he could get Sun Queen and then, you know, sort of get into his engine, but it's so slow, right? And then pretty funny here, he's just gonna normal summon the Scrollmeister, which doesn't interact with this deck at all, which is one of the reasons why I think it's pretty good. And then he's actually gonna swing into the Kid Brave, but in the damage tab I'm gonna go, oh no, not in the damage tab, I'm just gonna go Cross Domination, and then he just scoops, because that will be game. So yeah. Really showing off here why Musketeer has such a good Eldlich matchup, and why Lightning Storm is so good against the deck, despite you not being able to trigger Max to its full potential, of course. But yeah, I definitely think it's super good. You don't really need Max, to be honest. If you go Lightning Storm and just go Dancing Needle, you don't need Max. Which you can see here. Okay, for the second game, my opponent goes first again, I think, or does he make me start? Oh, he actually makes me start, so that's pretty good. Definitely the correct play. But I start with a pretty good hand where I have Starfire and the card to trigger Starfire and Crooked Crown. And then aside from that I have Dancing Needle, Cross Domination for disruptions, and then Kid Brave for the next turn. While my opponent's hand's also pretty good. He has Extravagance, Call by the Grave, Torrential, and the Golden Lord. He also has Harvey's Feather Duster, which actually I don't think is good at all against Musketeers. But I mean, he will probably... you know, he doesn't know the kind of list I'm playing, and then in the early, first game he also had to read my cards, so he probably isn't that familiar with the deck, which is one of the strengths, of course. So I'm gonna trigger Starfire with Crooked Crown, bring out Caspar, and then just pass turn. He's actually up to not activate the Extravagance, but to activate the Harpy's Feather Duster first. I'm not completely sure why he does this. Maybe he is familiar with the deck after all, and he might be playing around less stand or something. I'm not sure, to be honest, what his reasoning here is. But yeah, then he's gonna special Panktops. Panktops actually one of the best cards against Musketeers, but because like this is the optimal opening basically, where you open with 3 Musketeers. You know, if you really wanna go ham, you can go Crooked Crown, open with 3, I guess. But this is like a pretty good standard opening, and then Panktops can actually just attack over one and then pop the other one. But you'll see he's gonna make rookie mistake against the Musketeer here. He's gonna actually attack the Starfire, and then in damage step I'm gonna go cross domination on the Panker Drops, leaving me with both the Musketeers on the field. He definitely could have just played around this by, you know, trying to swing the Caspar first, and it would at least keep the Panker Drops on the field, and then next turn he could pop one of my guys, but... I mean, if I didn't have cross domination, this would have been better, so I get why you went for this. Then, interestingly enough, he's not gonna pop one of my guys. So I'm gonna go end phase. Actually, I'm just gonna go Dancing Needle to trigger my Caspar, because it will allow me to get access to less stand, which will allow me to play the next turn without interruptions, probably. Without any Golden Land interruptions anyway, because he has to get the whole north on the field with the Sanguine, and if he goes Sanguine, I can just negate it. And then I also top deck Monster Reborn here, which is really good. I don't have anything engraved right now, but I'm probably gonna go for max to summon some guys. And then I can potentially summon back whatever I summon, whatever I linked up for the max. So I'm gonna link up the Starfire here, because I value the Caspar on the field more. Especially since Max basically does the same as Starfire, right? And the cool thing is here, like, this could have been like a bluff impermanence, since it would force you to not activate something in the Caspar column, but since this is a counter trap, you won't be able to change impermanence anyway. So he's gonna go Torrential, which I'm gonna negate. I have Monster Reborn anyway, in case he somehow gets rid of my monsters anyway. Gonna bring out the dog, and then he's actually just gonna scoop it up, which is reasonable, right? I mean, I can't really imagine him getting back from this. So yeah, that was the first match I want to show you. Guys, and then the second match is actually a little bit more interesting, but you'll see why in a moment. So yeah, guys, this is the second match. As you can see, I won the rock paper scissors, and I'm going to make my opponent go first. So what he's actually gonna do is he's gonna open Extravagance, so really good to draw 2. Oh, I should probably go for the hands, right? Okay, so I'm opening Caspar, which is really good. Wild, which is not that good, but like, it's a name, so it's fine. Double Lightning Storm, which in this matchup is pretty good, right? I mean, not too, but having extra Lightning Storm is definitely very strong. And then Cross Domination to interact with any monster disrupts he might put up, or not. So yeah, he's just gonna go set 3 and then set a monster. So at this point, I'm thinking I'm playing against Shadow probably, which is sort of popular. And for a 6 card, I'm gonna draw less than, which is good, especially if this were Shadow. I could go Lightning Storm, and then I have an answer to Shadow Fusion in his turn as well. You'll see I'm gonna go Lightning Storm here, just hit a bunch of traps and the Haquiro. Then I'm gonna go normal summon Wild and link it into Max. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to get access to Dancing Needle to get rid of the Golden Land, and I don't want to link away the Caspar, right? I'd rather keep the Caspar in the hand for a push on the next turn. So yeah, I'm gonna get Dancing Needle, and then I'm actually gonna pass. To be honest, I don't really remember why I took this line of play, because at this point I know it's Eldlich, right? And I'm just not sure what other engines he might be playing, what the set card is. He's gonna go get a Sanguine. Let's see, then he's gonna pitch Golden Lord to pop my max to shell off all my Magical Musket traps, which I think is probably a misplay, because now I can just go chain the Dancing Needle. But then of course he can chain Sanguine, so that is pretty good, to be honest. I actually think for a moment, because potentially I could go less 10 to negate the Sanguine, but then he just has access to his engine anyway, so I opt not to and just keep the less 10 in hand to prevent any spells and traps interacting with my Caspar on the next turn. He's gonna bring out the Golden Lord, which is fine. It's just 25 now, because it was summoned with its own effect. It was summoned by the Sanguine. Then he's actually gonna flip the Red Eyes Wyvern here, which is pretty funny. So at this point, I know I'm playing against the Dragoon Eldlich deck, basically, which is actually a really scary matchup for Musketeer, because Musketeer has a really hard time dealing with Dragoon. So I'm pretty happy he drew the Wyvern and not like the Insight or the Fusion here. Then super good top deck here. I'm gonna opt not to Lightning Storm his guys, but just go for Desires. Then he's gonna chain the Sanguine, possibly to play around whatever I would search for Caspar, which is an interesting play. I'm gonna draw Cost Domination, which is alright because I'm gonna have to waste the first one, and then Cyclone, which is also really good for obvious reasons. And then with Caspar, I'm actually gonna add a Dock, just in case he gets rid of my Caspar on the next turn. I will have a follow-up. Then I'm gonna go into Max and search some more spells and traps, I think. Yeah, to get rid of his field. Oh, right. Now I remember, yeah. So basically what I'm gonna do here is I check my banished, and I know there's the Crooked Crown is still on my deck, so this will allow me to actually set up more of a field presence with Dock. Then with Dock I can actually get back the Caspar after I trigger it with whatever spell or trap I have in my hand, and then on his turn I can use Crooked Crown to bring out Caspar again and start, you know, gaining a lot of advantage, so that's pretty good. This is really one of the instances where Crooked Crown really shines. I'm gonna summon Dock in a different column, of course, because I want to trigger him. And then with Dock I'm gonna actually add the Dancing Needle here, so that way I'm gonna add Caspar on my next turn probably. Just gonna leave the Wyvern there, since that's fine. He's gonna swing, but I'm gonna go Cross Domination, not in the damage step this time, because I want to trigger my Dock. And here I go, I do the play I just mentioned, where I add back the Caspar. And there we go again. Eldlich normal summoning Skullmeister against Musketeer. Very meta play apparently. So yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna show both hands from this point on. His top deck was Strike, so it's just not enough to play out all my guys. I can even protect my guys from Strike with the last hand in this instance, because I'm gonna have multiple muskets on the field anyway when I try to link. I'm gonna go Upstart to trigger the Dock, draw nothing important, get access to Desperado. Then with Desperado I'm gonna be able to trigger Caspar again. He's actually gonna strike it, which I'm just gonna allow, like my position is so strong. Gonna bring out the Kid Brave here to apply some more pressure. Gonna go Cyclone to shut him off his engine and to do the damage I want to do, because all my guys are really small, right? And Conquistor is actually 1800, which is too big for my guys. And now there's pretty much nothing he can top deck to out this, right? He's gonna top deck Eldlich, which is like a good top deck, but it's not good enough. He's just gonna go lose to the Dancing Needle anyway. So yeah, I'm just gonna swing for game here after less than for the Aquiro, so yeah. Now for the second game, which will actually be significantly more interesting. So let's check the hands again. My hand is, I would say it's pretty good. I have Ash, Caspar, Dock, Last Dance, and Cyclone, so against this matchup the hand is particularly strong. We have the best starter, and then we have 2 cards to stop his disruptions. And Ash to stop the fusion, which is really important here. And then his hand is gonna be Quick Mirror Force, Interesting, Strike, Aquiro, Fusion, and the Inside, which basically searches the fusion. So pretty good hand on his part as well, just kind of slow getting into the Eldlich engine. He's gonna go Inside to probably, you know, bait my Ash, but I'm obviously not gonna go for Ash, because why would I? I'd rather just negate the fusion since it's once per turn anyway, which is exactly what I'm gonna end up doing here. And he's gonna set his cards. My top deck is Reborn, which is really strong, because if you get somehow stop my normal summon, I can just bring it back. But I think I'm gonna make a minor misplay here actually. I played this match like a few days ago, so I'm not completely sure anymore. He's gonna go Quaking, which I'm basically forced to negate at this point, right? Because I know he has the other fusion. And if I if I just let it go face down, Monster Reborn actually doesn't do anything to get my musket cards live. So I'm gonna less stand that and just also get the Caspar Search. But that he's got a Strike, so you know, pretty strong. Some mix up with the life points here. He also took the 12, but that obviously doesn't happen. Okay, so what I do here is like, I make a misplay, to be honest. What I should have done is I should have Monster Reborn to Caspar, then set Cyclone in the column where Caspar was summoned, and then in his standby phase I should have Cycloned the Hakuro, whether he flips it up or not, irrelevant, and then I could trigger Caspar to get less than to my hand, and that way I could actually stop his Red Eyes fusion. But I'm gonna be super lucky here, because as you can see, he's actually gonna top deck Dark Magician here. So he's gonna activate Red Eyes fusion here, but he won't have the negate from the Dragoon, so that will actually make it significantly more easy to out the Dragoon, as you'll see in a moment. So he's just gonna swing with the Dragoon. I top deck Less Than here, which is fine. I'm gonna go Reborn on Caspar because I really want to get access to what's it called, Starfire here, so I can actually out the Dragoon. So if I would activate either of these, I wouldn't be able to do that. Is that true? Oh no, I will be able to do that, and you're gonna see exactly how. Okay, so this plays pretty heads up. Took me a second to see it here. I'm just gonna go trigger the Caspar here to get access to Starfire, which I can just add obviously. And now I don't have any cards to trigger Starfire, but that's actually not relevant because I can obviously just go link away my Caspar and get the spell and trap search from Max to get something to trigger the Starfire, which will probably be Dancing Needle. It could be Crooked Crown, I guess, but I think Dancing Needle is slightly better. I guess not. I guess Crooked Crown is better, which makes sense because it will get me access to Dock if I want to. So yeah, and I'm just gonna go into the Utopia, and he just scoops it up, basically admits defeat, and that's the game there. So yeah, guys, Musketeers has a pretty good matchup against Eldlich. I honestly think these were the only Eldlich matches I played with the deck up until now, which is definitely like a meta deck, right? People are playing this deck, and it is pretty good. You can mix it with a lot of engines, so pretty interesting there. But against the Eldlich engine specifically, Musket has a really good matchup. I hope you guys enjoyed the video once again. 2 matches this time. Second to last video. Let me know in the comments which deck you would like me to play against in the last video for this series. And then after that, it's time for me to start thinking what deck I want to go use in the future of the series, basically, where I'm going to try to make an all deck good again in 2020. So guys, you know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you next time. Bye!